This is landlord day. Got some work to do. You see all this big mess? Well, this is what happens when your drip pan rusts out and your air handler, which is located up in the attic. And then well, actually the drip pan rusts out, and then the emergency drip pan also rusts out. So the water then runs in the insulation, gets drywall wet, and makes something like this. So now I'm going upstairs to attempt to fix this. I've made it to the attic, packed my tools and stuff up here. And here's the problem. This is like a 30-year-old GE air handler. The outside unit has already been replaced with a Goodman unit, gosh, 15, 20 years ago. But the old air handler has still been working, but I've seen this happen before. I think I've got like 3 houses with the same system in it. And here is the drip pan that catches the water off of the condenser. These will rust out. Then when they rust out, the water is supposed to go into the emergency drip pan right down here. But it's been doing this for a while evidently. Then the drip pan rusted out, and that's why we got water in the insulation and all over the ceilings down below. So what I've already done, I don't have a vacuum pump, but a friend of mine came by and pumped the Freon out of the system. So now I can break the lines loose, get the radiator loose, get all this apart, and get new parts made. And another strategy, I got to figure out a way to get this drip pan out from under this without tearing up all the ductwork. That's always a lot of fun because you got ductwork on both sides, and it's warm up here today. And so look at all that dust and asbestos crap flying around. Oh, it's good for me. Well, I got these dudes off. That is pretty nice having these compression fittings on here. Most new stuff you see, they're sorted in place. Then I would have to go up here and cut the lines and raise them back and all that stuff. So that's pretty nice. Got that off. So now I get this condenser out of my way. See how bad it is, and pack it downstairs and work on getting the this big old rusted tray out from under here. Let me get situated here. This is my little ratchet strap because I'm doing this. A lot of times I get into projects and it's a one-man show, and so I gotta improvise when I don't have much muscle up here. So what I've done, I got me some of this metal angle iron with all the holes. You see these on garage doors, you know what they put. Very handy stuff because I use it all the time. You make anything out of it. But so I temporarily screwed that up to there with some big bolts. I got my little trusty impact here, makes that good work of that. And like here, I made me a strap that I could quickly, some self-tapping screws, screwed it onto that. And I got this pretty tight. I've already raised it up some, and I give you an example on this side. Because you can see here's my ratchet strap, and I got it going on this box, which is fastened really well to the air handler. And you can see every time I move on that, I think you can just see it. I get the light right. Yeah, let me see. Hold the camera still. You see how it's raising up off the ground. So that should make it a lot easier to get the drip pan out. So I got 2 straps on. I just got to get 2 more. And by doing it this way, I can slowly bring it up and hopefully not tear or damage any of the ductwork, because that gets into a whole lot more work getting everything sealed up good. So we're going to hop over to the other side, put me down some boards, where I'm not standing on just some little trusses, and put me on 2 more straps. Okay, yeah, this insulation's killing me. But I was going to show you this. Of course, when you're up in here in the attic, you got to be very careful. So all you got to stand on these little 2x4 trusses. They're every 24 inches on this house. And I got a little 2x4 here that I'm balancing on, but I brought me some boards up so I can make me a little platform. I just want to show you this. This is where the water went. This is the top side of the drywall that's wet, and it's seeping through down below. And it really stinks. It's got off. All this insulation's wet. Let's get to dig it up out of the way. And I'll be itching tonight for sure. It's probably making a lot of you people just itch today. Look at that insulation. Yum yum. Probably making you people itch just watching this video. Okay. Alright, so that'll dry out in a couple of days. Get my little platform made here, and I'll jack this side up and maybe get this drip pan out. Better shot. I got my ratchets on the other side. I got this one on, that one on. Got them strapped up here, and you can see. Look at the. See, every time I ratchet it, it brings up the ductwork, and you can hear it pulling away. So hopefully we'll get this rusty, nasty thing out of here and get it replaced. Almost got it out. That's what's left of the drip pan. But it seemed like it's screwed right up along the edge on each end. Got it all loose here. What a rotten mess. But on each corner, she's a hanging on. So I guess I'm just going to have to get down there in 10 snips and work my way across to get it cut loose. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. Standing on your head in wet insulation in a hot attic. Yep. Some things you should just hire. Okay, I'm out of that hot, nasty, stinking attic. So, down in my garage, and here is what it looks like in the light. Of course, it's kind of upside down, but this is the pan that the water is supposed to be caught in. Then go out your drain pipe here, down outside where it's supposed to go. But it is a rusty mess, and these bolts aren't budging at all. So I'm gonna. A couple actually had rusted plumb off, so I'm going to take my grinder, grind them off, re-drill the holes out, put in new screws. There's another one that's what's left of the head in here. So I got about 4 screws to grind off, get this pan off, see what it looks like, and we'll go from there. Okay, well it's off here. This is where it's set on here, and I ground the heads of the bolts off. Got that done, so and then I'll clean this really good. There's this rubber stuff you can buy, you can spray in here, that'll keep it from rusting in the future. This pan looks fine, but you see where all this was stopped up. So I imagine that was part of my problem. This was not allowing the water, because this is upside down, not allowing the water to flow into the pan. So we're just backing up and coming over this edge here. And just drawing down. And then this is a problem. So I may have to make me a new box for this. Yeah, see how that's rusted out. But I believe we can fix this thing and get her going again. You know, I made a comment a while ago that I know sometimes you're better off hiring stuff done. But I don't know. For me, it's more of a challenge. This thing is 30 years old, built well, strong. Gosh, it took me forever to grind those bolts off. They're so hard on there and rusted. And still works fine, except for this water issue. But I believe I can get all this put back together and maybe get another 30 years out of it. We'll see. Ever worked on air conditioners before? You may have never used this stuff. This is a coil cleaner. It does a great job. Look what it does. I sprayed it on that condenser, and look what it's doing. Foaming it all up, and I'll let that soak for a few minutes and rinse it off. Probably do it again, and those coils will look like brand new. What this stuff is, see the steam coming off of it? When it gets hot, it's boiling all that crud off. And boy, one thing about it, I had a splinter in my finger, and that thing will let you know where it's at for sure. Where's my finger? There it is. Oh man, that thing will light you up. Some sort of mild acid. Well, to me, it feels pretty strong. Anyway, we'll see how it looks. More things to say. Because this side is the intake side of the condenser. This is, or what you might say, the air filter side. Usually in your hallway somewhere you'll have an air filter. It's one reason why it's very important to keep that air filter changed out at least every 30 days. Keep that thing clean, because if you don't, all that dirt and crud ends up here, up inside the attic where you can't get to it, and it shuts off the airflow, makes everything inefficient, runs your electric bill up more, and nothing good about it. So buy you a big pack of air filters and keep those things changed, or it ends up looking like this. Because you can see on the back side, well, I can't get to it very well, the back side of it's relatively clean and shiny, but because all the dirt and crap is stuck on this end. Okay, it's been a couple of days now, and I got me some new parts. This is the old side pieces here, and you see what that looks like here, but actually on the back side is more telling. You can see where the water line was. That's where the water used to lay all the time, and over time it rusted out, put a hole in it, which disadvantage is about here, so that water would run out, get into the side of the air handler box, eventually drip out onto the emergency drip pan, and of course then it eventually rusted out. So that's why we had water all over the place. And so I've got a new side over here, and I got a brand new, and this side was actually worse. Check it out, what kind of shape it was in. It was completely eat out. So, and then I also got a new, this pan is replaced here. And I did a little test too, just to make sure everything was doing its job. So I rigged this up here to spray water on it, you know, just like that's what will happen. You'll sweat and drip water. That's what they do all day long. And it's nice and humid like it is here in Kentucky. And you can see the water is coming out this little pipe like it's supposed to. Of course, now normally when this thing's hooked up and running, getting back to this, a phone call, messed up my video. But anyway, this pipe will be on here. This will in turn make an angle and run out the side of the heat pump, which will actually run outside. So that water is directed outside. And of course this big piece here you see is called the emergency drip pan. If this gets plugged up, which sometimes they get stopped up, then water starts overflowing and goes everywhere. Eventually, that's what this pan is made for, is to catch it. Then the water will fill up eventually and go out this pipe, and then it'll also run outside. So it's one of the disadvantages of having an air handler mounted up into your attic space. And that's just the way they did them back then. Not so much anymore. Most of them's built now in the closet area of the house. So I'm thinking about gathering up all my tools and hoisting this thing back up in the attic and put it all back together. I just checked the time. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. It's still hot and miserable up here in this attic. I was hoping to be a little cooler than what it is. But you can see here, there's the brand new drip pan I got in place. Or I should say that's the brand new emergency drip pan. That's there when this one stops up and fails. There is the old drip pan, what is left of it. Absolutely rusted out and a mess. And that was just 10 kinds of fun because I had to cut it out because it was screwed in on the edges. So got that part done. And we got that piece is nice, shiny and new in there. And I'm fixing to drop this back in place. Hook up my lines, get everything lined up, and see if we can get some air conditioning going again. If this insulation don't kill me. Well, it's all buttoned up now. And I can turn it on, make sure it works. There she's going. Alright. And you can see I got my lines all bolted back up here. And tomorrow we'll get the Freon put back in it, test it, then I'll let it run for a while, you know, get enough to get the water flowing, and I'll come up here and inspect, make sure everything stays dry, and finish taping up some of these joints, some of this good full tape, so keep things running efficiently. And so hopefully that's got that buttoned up. You know, I guess I talked to one heat and air guy, you know, he said a job like this, you'd usually just put in a new unit. You wouldn't attempt to change all that out because it is a lot of work. But I think it's worth it if you got the time anyways and you want to attempt something like that. Wasn't a whole lot of fun, but I think it's going to work all right. Maybe it'll run another 10 or 20 years. It's been ran for 30 years. We'll see. I thought I'd show you where I'm at in this crazy attic. There's my hole there. I'm now dragging all my tools out, but we'll go back this way. I gotta go back for another trip. And I was going to talk to you about, if people ever get in their attics, one thing to remember, knock on wood, I've been going through attics for 30 years, I guess, and I've never, luckily, stepped my foot and stepped through into the drywall, into the ceiling. But as you're walking through the insulation, a lot of times you'll see insulation and you won't see where you're supposed to step at. But if you just, you know, you'll see your trusses right here. There's a truss. All right, come over here. There's a truss. And you know straight across you're going to have another 2x4. And you can see that one's exposed there slightly. So that way you know where to step. So as you walk across here, just do like that. Take your time. You can get right through there pretty easy. And if you got a house, it's a good idea to get up here and check things out, and make sure everything stays good and dry. Of course, this is a rental house, and you know, you don't know anything till you get a phone call. You got water leaking and stuff. But if it was your own house, get up in your attic every now and then and just check things out. You can look up here at your ceiling and see if there's any leaks or anything, and any termites, and look for mud tunnels and all that fun stuff. Try to take care of your property. Alright, get another load and get it. Okay, as you can see, we got it back running again, and I just sprayed some coil cleaner on it, stuff here, and letting it all foam up so I can get it cleaned off good, and we'll go inside and check our temperatures and see how things are doing. Now, see all the grass, see how that foam actually pushes out the grass? Always try to remind the renters, before they cut the grass, make sure they turn the air conditioner off, and don't be blowing the grass toward the air unit, because it just sucks all that dirt and debris and grass clippings right up in there. Of course, then they're going to have a lot higher electric bill, and less cooling, less heating. So it's a good thing to remind people. Okay, now I've hosed it off after putting acid on there, and got her shined up good, and so it should cool much better. Tools are loaded up. I'm done with this project. One thing I made a change. Now, another thing I got to figure out how to get rust off vinyl siding. I gotta find me something for that. But one of the bad designs about this originally, because there's the main drip line that normally runs water out all the time, which is fine. But when it plugs up, the way when they build these houses, they have the emergency drip just drips inside the soffit up where you can't see it, and it just runs out like this, makes a mess. If your renter's not out in the backyard, don't see it, well, they don't know about it until things flood and you get a mess in the ceiling and all that stuff. So I changed it a little bit, and I got me this is called If Dripping, and I fixed it so that if the main line ever gets plugged up in the future and it starts putting water in the emergency drip pan, when it starts coming out of the drip pan, it will drip out right onto the top of the air conditioner and start making a drip, make a noise. So that should get someone's attention listening to that racket, and hopefully give me a call so I can get over here and take care of any problems and not have such a big mess like we just had. So over and out. This job is done.